was not an official member of the lineup.
Yeah, seriously, who's running this fucking thing? Why wasn't I fucking on the official lineup? Seriously, heads are gonna roll.
Let me talk to you, Bulkamaniacs.
Welcome, window lickers. You know what time it is. You know what moment it is, and you have joined us here for your pit stop to Raw. On your way to the Raw Patrol, you said, hey, let's go lick some windows here with some friends.
Oh, Jesus.
Got hit with a sneeze attack right there. Got smacked. Just like,
Wow.
I don't even know if Bulkster heard that. He's probably deaf over there. Because, whoa, it's
Holy Jesus, there he goes again.
woo. Woo. All right. So we are here with Bubba Duke, the co-host who started it off with me. Here we are, Bubba Duke. How is your Monday night going so far?
Monday night is going great. TV set up for when we slide over to the Raw Patrol. I can't wait, man.
That's great. That's great to hear, Bubba Duke. Glad to see you. Glad to be back with you here in studio doing some fun stuff, talking Raw. And we have the man that we brought across the aisle, the man we dug out between the sofa cushions, just like a stale Dorito. It is the Bulkster. How goes it, co-host number 3?
Bulkster is pretty good. He is looking forward to Raw. Talk about Raw, what happened last week, and pop into Raw Patrol and watch Bubba say he's watching Raw, but looking at his phone. That's always a good time.
That is always a good time. And as you can see, fans and fellow window lickers, we brought a old friend in. He is the one, the only OMD, part of Raw Patrol and part of the Boar's Nest. He's also part of the, what's the Tuesday show? Turnbuckle Talk?
Turnbuckle Talk.
Yeah, he's part of Turnbuckle Talk. OMD is all over Turnbuckle Studios. He is your Swiss Army knife when it comes to a mic. OMD, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing very well. I've had the day off today. I was supposed to work, but the weather up here didn't cooperate. So I got to just kick back, relax, and now I'm here to talk some Raw.
Awesome. We are great. We are happy to have you here, OMD. It's always great to get a... Go ahead,
OMD. To be back. It's great to be back.
Well, yeah, you are the first-time repeat window licker here. You must have not gotten enough of the chemicals off the window the first time. So you joined me, Bubba Duke, and then now our new third chair, Terry, the Bulkster. So it's always great to have friends join us, you know. And OMD, you're in the chat. You're, you know, we know you watch the show before you guys go onto the Raw Patrol. So, you know, the kind of the format we go with here. And so we're going to do our, you know, how we do it with breaking it down with everybody doing their story. And before we jump into that, let's just get a overall, how's everybody doing? Let's shout anything out if you got anything going on, or if you got anything in the world of wrestling outside of WWE you might want to pop out. Let's hear it.
Other than Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné now becoming the highest paid female wrestler in history.
Yes, she is.
What a ridiculous contract.
Well, when you got
Someone
money
wanted to pay her.
like literally, if you got the money to throw at stupidity, why not throw it at the stupidity?
Yeah, I mean, she is also a fans are a draw to her still.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that is a ridiculous contract.
Did you say Sasha's a draw?
She is a draw, my friend, in some circles.
News to me.
No, well, here we go, Mr. Snooty. Once you leave WWE, I have nothing good to say about you. Bulkster.
You know, and then of course,
hear pretty good now.
Of course.
Oh yeah, he's so amazing in hearing right now. I hear it all, guys.
Of course, the whiners out there saying, you know, that Bailey and Naomi should be suspended or fired because they happened to go to AEW, stay off camera.
Shut up.
But because they were there to support their friend.
It's
bullshit.
It is bullshit. It's completely bullshit. And
that sounds like something the Bulkster would say.
Well, no, I didn't care.
No. It's funny because yes, Bulkster makes his jokes, but and ultimately he could give two shits less what Sasha Banks is doing. But it does bring up an interesting point though. When she left, we did hear rumors of her being pretty much not happy with the contract Charlotte had at the time, which at the time I believe Charlotte would have been the highest paid female. And then Sasha's went out and she found somebody to give her the check that she feels that she deserves. And in some circles, Bulkster, they would agree with her 100% on what she brings to a promotion. I think time will tell with her at AEW. I'm glad to see her somewhere doing what she enjoys, and it sounds like she's gonna thrive with the paycheck she's got now. I mean, she definitely
I can't blame her, but
yeah, why
for the money? But
yeah, I totally get you, and that's gonna
lead
us
boss.
That that's true. That is true. That's gonna lead us into Bulkster. Why don't we hit your topics right off the bat? And before you get that big mouth going, you know what we got to wait for. This is the Bulkster wants to talk to you, brother.
Let me talk to you guys.
All right, Bulkster, take it away.
The review today from last week, man, like I said, typically this match was a sleeper. It was go to the restroom and just, you know, if you was a live show. And it probably still was because the people that got to watch it at home got the bigger picture. But break it down, you have Maxine and Ivy versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And, you know, you look at this match, you're like, if you was there live, you'd be like, yeah, it's time to go to the bathroom, go get some popcorn. But, you know, we at home, and even at home, I was like, oh, I don't know, this is going to be good. But you know what? They turned it around quick, and Candice is now on my up list because I'll tell you what, the performance she gave, the bashing she gave Maxine, even though it was like, wow, it was more of a surprise. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they went there. It was good work. I liked how they mixed real life with, you know, and fed off of it, make something out of it, and hopefully it builds Maxine more somehow. Maybe make her stronger, more, you know, come back as like, people feel sorry for her, so she's gonna come back and be a real big baby face type thing and improve, and hopefully motivates and brings up Candice as a heel. Indy's kind of like doesn't know what's going on, so who knows if she'll follow suit or if it'll be one of these things where she won't feel the same way as Candice does. But that's where I go on. That match was sleeper hit because you didn't expect anything, and the people that watched it live probably once they got home and got to watch some maybe reclips or whatever, like, wow, okay, because they probably seen them talking and yelling at each other, but didn't know what was being said.
Gotcha. So you were at the end of it. You were actually impressed with the match, and actually had
Yeah.
a good.
I mean, it was a pretty quick match. It was only 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minute match, but it was enough to redirect Maxine's character, Candace's character, and Indy got the pin, but she looked confused, like what just went on. So I feel there's going to be some more story between Candace and Indy. Maxine, it'll definitely light a fire under her ass to probably come back. Like I said, Ivy is still kind of like, she's part of the Creed brothers, as their third person. So she's good in the ring. It's just we haven't seen too much of it yet, or personality wise, what's going to happen with that.
Well, and hopefully this is a springboard into something more coming off of this. Bubba, OMD, what are your guys' thoughts?
I'm with Bulkster on this being a sleeper. I was really surprised as to how far they actually went. I mean, yes, you could have used the LA Knight Max Dupree thing as the storyline kayfabe brother.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out afterwards that Maxine's real life brother was killed in a car accident.
Jesus.
Was, okay, was it supposed to be done kayfabe, or are they trying to draw this in? Mm-hmm. We know that Maxine is green. We know that Maxine is working. The fact that she is aligned with Ivy Nile as well as the Alpha Academy to help grow herself in the business. I do hope, like Bulkster said as well, this elevates them. And yeah, we are left with the same questions as Bulkster alluded to of where does Indy go? Where does Candace go? Where does Ivy go? Where do all four of them go? But we've also created this new, hopefully masterfully told story.
Very true. I mean, I like where your guys' head's at with that. Bubba Duke, let's hear your input, my friend.
Yeah, it was, like he said, it was a very quick match. Kind of, if you weren't paying attention, it was kind of confusing to a degree. Because it's not what I was expecting. Literally, I had just sat down from my washroom break, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I got a couple minutes. Because these girls are kind of like the bottom of the card to me. They're not really up in the top echelons yet.
Made their impact yet.
Yeah, they just haven't made that. Yeah, they haven't made that stop, I would like to call, at the going higher than what they are now. But that all being said, now that I've had time to stop and re-watch what happened,
yeah,
it is starting to make sense as it could be a good feud with these four girls. Even as green as Maxine is, and her tag partner Ivy just hasn't had that ability to shine yet. Well, if they keep this storyline and go where we all think it's headed, that upward, this could be huge in not the near future, but like in the future of like 3-4 months. You've had this story build, and all these girls are getting better and better. Like, dude, they could probably shut a show down if they put on a good match.
Well, and that's interesting to hear. Now, just real quick before we move on from this, and Terry, your perspective will come more as a fan, but Bubba Duke and OMD, as people who have been in a ring and have been around a professional ring before, do you think that it's a more impactful if a writer and a performer can pull off a story, or at least a platform for a story in such a short segment where they get that 3 minutes? And I'm not going to say it was a squash match, but it was a hurried match to get an end result, which I think kind of left Indy what Bulkster alluded to being a little shocked with the win. But that does play into her for being such a young talent on the main roster. I mean, she has years behind her, but she is a young talent to the eyes of the fans. OMD, Bubba Duke. Does that question make sense? OMD, you're muted.
OMD's muted.
There you go.
Having been involved in this scenario a few times, first as part of a pick your poison match and coming out of the crowd as a plant, to put that match together, it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of communication between the talents involved. So I do think that, yes, they did a great job. I think it's very, very capable of being done. We all know that Maxine is the greenest out of all four of them in this scenario.
But do you think this was the right move to push her? Because I'm leaning yes, because it to me it cements if the group of girls involved can pull this off and springboard something in the weeks to come storyline wise, then they did their job and they did it masterfully.
Right.
And it kind of shows that they can be thrown into a story and get a good result out of it.
Absolutely. Do I think they needed to go to that whole realism aspect of Maxine's late brother?
Yeah.
No. I think that might have been pushing a little too much too quick, going a little too personal.
Okay. Hey, he's got a point, because we don't know if they're tested yet. Now, let's say they were 3-4 years into it on the main roster. I could see throwing this directly in there and OMD not saying exactly what he said. But Bubba Duke, let's get your thoughts real quick before we move on.
100%. It's kind of a 50-50 thing. Was it necessary to go that personal that fast? Probably not. But it caught your attention and made you pay more attention to what was happening at that moment. You're like, huh, what? If they could pull this off they pulled this one off. I'll tell you right now, they pulled this segment off 100%. They pulled it off.
Yeah.
And whoever wrote it and these girls talked it all out with said person, they pulled it off perfectly. I wouldn't have gone that personal myself, but like you're saying later on in the story, yeah, sure, why not throw that in there and build that feud up, even get them even more heated,
All right, we got House jumping in. He says, I think we see Maxine's story ramp up after Mania. And I'm going to say that's probably a safe bet for that.
Yeah.
And knowing House and how he analyzes watching, he's probably correct on this one. I could probably see them do that one, just because I think they hit a nerve last week in which they I think they know they can strike something. Much like the Bulkster picking this comment, and it actually taken up some of our time here, because it generated good conversation on this one. So
yeah, it was awesome.
With that being said, Bulkster, you fucking journalist of the couch cushion, we're gonna jump into OMD's segment. And OMD, before you say it, you know what you gotta wait for. Here we go. We got OMD dropping some knowledge from the top rope. And OMD, what do you want to talk to the window lickers about tonight?
We are going with the main event from Raw last week and the gauntlet match. Brilliant match. It was given more than adequate time with 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
In some circles, yes, you could say it was a surprise winner. In others, no. But the way you started it off with Ricochet and JD, that was the best competition in that entire match. And it's a shame that neither one of them really got to advance to Mania to make this a triple threat or a four-way. Probably the most boring aspect was Shinsuke in that match. Because he really didn't do anything of note. You had Bronson Reed, who laid the attack on Sami Zayn afterwards, right before Chad Gable came out. Chad doing the sportsmanlike thing, saying, get up. No, we're going to do this when you're ready.
Yeah.
Sami going to pick him up after he lost the match, hug him, thank him. And then, of course, you get Gunther coming out right at the very end for that face-off. To answer your question, House, that's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think that Sami was the right move, but Gable as well. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either of them.
Very true.
Yeah.
So were you pleased with the outcome of it then, OMD?
I was. And that leads into tonight. We get that contract signing.
Yes.
Which we all know how contract signings typically go, but we also know the level on which Gunther operates. So I don't think we're going to see that tonight. I don't think you're going to see somebody going through the table.
Gotcha. And fans, so you know, yes, we know OMD hit us with a review or a preview before we finished the reviews, but that is because he is part of the Raw patrol, so he definitely can. OMD knows where he needs to be and where he needs to say his things, so he can get all his things in. So don't worry about that. We will hit that back also. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what you're saying, and this is where the house is bringing up another point. He's saying exactly what OMD was alluding to, and he's saying, you know, maybe there is not physicality tonight, and that could well be because right now what we have is Gunther at the top of his game. I mean, you're not touching him right now. He's making history, and he's wearing every hat that they're throwing at him very well, and he's making a wrestling fan like me believe that some of these guys might have a chance up until they get across the ring from him. And then once you hear that bell ring, you realize they don't got a chance. But in the storylines, though, Gunther is definitely making me believe that he understands all the aspects that go into a story, a championship run of this level. And then for them to come out and give us the gauntlet match, I mean, come on. What fan wasn't excited about that? We don't get to see matches like that all the time, but when we do, they do them very well. So, Terry, let me ask you, what were your thoughts on what OMD was bringing up?
Well, I have a question for OMD.
Here we go.
What his perspective is. Okay. So you know they're doing the contract signing. Okay. When's the last time they've had a contract signing that didn't end in some kind of drama or physicality? I mean, do you really think WWE's going to put out Sami and Gunther and just, you're going to sign some papers and you're going to be, do you think there's going to be any kind of drama or outside drama? Now it has to be them two. Do you think there's going to be anybody that comes out to maybe stake their claim saying that they didn't get a shot, or maybe like it could be Gable come back out. I mean, maybe he turns heel. Who knows?
I think
maybe
Bulkster's talking to you, OMD.
I'm thinking far fetched. I'm thinking, I mean, what would surprise you the most if they did some kind of crazy shenanigans?
I can definitely see some sort of crazy shenanigans, but between Sami and Gunther, it will be verbal. I'm with you there. I could see Gable coming out. I don't see a Gable turn tonight. I see that coming up in about 3 weeks on night 1.
I agree.
Wow.
Do
and
I
then
see?
catching up with what thing? I only have one word. Lesnar. What
Yeah.
if?
You know what? I was honestly waiting at the end of the match last week for Lesnar's music.
Well, I
to
was
hit.
waiting for that too, but maybe they're just throwing us a curveball and
I was waiting
doing
for
some
Lesnar.
kind of.
I was waiting on Lesnar's music to hit, Sheamus's music to hit. And I'm grateful that we actually didn't get that. But no, I mean, Gunther uses his words to talk and set the tone for the match. Could Imperium come out and beat down Sammy before or after the contract signing? Sure.
Yeah.
And that's Gable comes out and makes the save. So next week you get Sammy and Gable versus Gunther.
Yeah, I could see that. That's good.
I'm leaning more towards what Terry posed towards you, OMD. And yes, what you're saying is there's a chance that we do not get any physicality. And that would be, to me, that would be the most easiest way in your storyline to continue. But when you add the physicality from an outside source who might be a little jealous that they're not getting in there, I think then you add the insanity, the craziness that can be fantastic for a championship of Gunther's caliber, what he's holding. Because let's face facts. If we're walking down an alley, okay, all 4 of us, and we see Gunther, do we all 4 think, oh yeah, if we all 4 attack him, we're gonna win? Because I'm on the side of no. It's going to take 10 of us to even touch him. Right? But if I see Chad Gable down there, I think, hey, maybe 4 of us could take him. But he could probably whoop the living shit out of all 4 of us. But what I'm saying is the perception is there. So therefore, I think you need the extra boot coming in with some outside force coming in and maybe disrupting it, giving it some type of physicality. Even if it's just Gunther going, you know what? I'm going to deal with you at Mania, but whomever did this, I'm dealing with them after you. So therefore, it already looks like he's looking past his Mania opponent.
Right. Yeah.
He's already going forward. And to me, that's true Gunther fashion. Let's get everybody's last input on this one, and we'll take it off from there. Bubba Duke, why don't we start with you?
It's just, I'm glad Sammy won it.
Yeah.
Did not see it coming. I was honestly rooting for Chad Gable. I was seriously rooting for him because he hasn't had a push to that kind of level in a long time. So see Sammy win it, I'm kind of a Sammy guy too. So it was like I wasn't bothered that Gable didn't win, and I was pretty happy that Sammy did, and I'm glad nobody came out and ruined his moment of thanking Chad Gable for an honest one-on-one match for that number 1 contender, and then kind of rode off into the sunset till this week. I liked it. It was good.
Awesome. OMD, let's get your final thoughts on it.
Again, fantastic match. Can't wait to see where they go with the Gunther Sammy story build up to Mania. Again, though, I'm going to go with a lack of physicality tonight. I do think we might see some interference after the contract is signed, but I don't believe it will be on Gunther's part.
All right. I like it. And the bulkster.
I think I like Sammy. I'm not looking forward to Sammy versus Gunther. I feel they're outmatched. Even Gable and Gunther are outmatched, but I would have preferred to see Gable face Gunther just because of the the history. They kind of just throw Sammy in like, oh, I haven't had nothing going good for me. Well, you was tag team champions not too long, and headlining WrestleMania last year. You're
Very
doing
true.
just fine.
Very
Right.
true.
So seeing him it'll probably be a good match, but I feel it was so close with Gable winning last time. He was so close, several close calls, and so it was just hoping to see that happen, but it won't. If it doesn't happen now, hopefully it happens like another PLE, because I don't think Gunther's going to lose the belt at WrestleMania. I think he's going to hold it for something else. And I'm hoping there, if it's the whole thing about Gable finishing his story, they don't want to finish his story and Cody's story in the same PLE,
Yeah.
so they can say, "Oh, Cody's Gable will get his flowers at SummerSlam," or something.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's what I think.
Stop giving us.
Shut up.
We got more show to get. Your opinion on that. I like where you're going with the Gable SummerSlam. So everybody keep that in the back of your heads. We're gonna bring that up on another show in the future, because I like where Terry's going with that, because I have an idea for the Gable storyline that could land him a championship there at SummerSlam. But we're gonna jump into one of my favorite people, the first guy I asked to join me in this little production, and it is the one, the only Bubba Duke. All right,
Jesus.
Bubba Duke, get that topic and give it to us. We are
Nice.
ready as a window liquor fans to hear what you got to say, brother.
I'm doing Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, for a very simple fact that Liv Morgan proved to me that she has grown in leaps and bounds when it comes to wrestling, period. She and Becky had me on the edge of my seat for this match.
Mhm.
I thought it was honestly going to be a squash match. Becky was going to come in, just steamroller, and off to the next one,
Oh, yeah.
But Liv put up an awesome fight. It was a great match. They hit all their points, and I didn't see one mistake through the whole match. Like, how they have like a little bumble, like they screw something up. I didn't
Yeah.
see anything like that. And if there was, they covered it so well that it made it look like it was part of the match. I didn't see it. But yes, I know Carl's gonna love hearing this, that I am becoming a Liv Morgan fan
Yeah.
after that match. She's definitely earned respect. Very well deserved earned respect. She held her own against Becky Lynch to a point where I would even move her up from like a mid card just below the main card to, I would put her in a main event on a pay-per-view, not WrestleMania, but a pay-per-view. She's getting there for me. She's definitely picked up her skill. The match did end up with Liv losing the match,
Mm-hmm.
but there was no outside interference, which I thought there was going to be from a certain giant of a woman, Samoan, or somebody else was going to step in and interfere and cause either Becky or Liv the match. But it was a very stand-up, clean match, and hit all the marks for me personally. Especially when it comes to women's matches for that Raw, they had 3 in a row at the beginning, which is unheard of. I've never seen that personally. And this one capped it off for the whole night for me, just proving again that women's wrestling is starting to catch up with men's wrestling as far as being able to perform and hold the crowd like they did.
Yeah.
Which awesome.
Well, I mean, honestly, we can go back a few weeks in this, and we talked about Liv's performance in Chamber, and it's getting to a point to where it's hard to not say Liv Morgan shouldn't be up in championship talks. I mean, she's really putting in the work. She's really really showing that she is somebody that they can throw in there, and she's going to give a great bit of content for the viewers and fans alike. Bulkster, where are your thoughts on Bubba Duke's topic here?
Yeah, I agree with them. Like I said, Liv Morgan is becoming a real wonder to see. And it's not just because of her beauty; it's because she has some talent there behind it now, and a lot of it. It's kind of outshining what you typically was like. Well, this is like a diva material here,
Exactly.
but but man, she's doing great. And like I said, Becky came off with the win, which, like I said, we figured that was going to happen. Or like I said, outside interference. I'm glad they wanted to make. I think they want to make Becky look strong going into her match with Rhea. And didn't want to do the same old with have a run in. And they waited till after the match to have any kind of person come out or whatever. I think didn't Rhea come out or to confront Becky, or if it was Nia, I'm not sure. One of the two came out at the end.
I honestly can't remember because the match. I was so focused on the match that I forgot anything happened.
A small thing happened at the end, and that's about it. But anyway, that was. Other than that, it was a good match, and hopefully we'll see Liv do something at Mania, a mild match, a pre-show match, something to be on the card of some kind. Who knows what they're going to do?
I can agree there. OMD.
We had Rhea come out after the match, and her and Becky traded jabs on the mic, and then Nia attacked Becky and Liv in the back.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Again, as Bubba alluded to, fantastic match. And I got to agree with, I've been a Liv Morgan fan since she was in NXT. But she has grown leaps and bounds. Even when she got the push to Money in the Bank 2 years ago and beating Ronda Rousey for the title, she wasn't ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was put the belt on the new hot act.
Yeah.
Which I think is where they've smartened up. And they're not just rushing to throw the belt on somebody for the sake of they're a ratings draw.
Basically because freaking Flair's not there.
But yes, and again, I hope Liv gets something at Mania. What it will be, I don't know, but she has come so far that, and again, I think this is going to be another situation like Gable where she's going to get a shot at something down the road.
Yeah. I agree there. You can definitely tell that she's absorbing a lot of the information being fed to her in ring, off ring, on a promo.
100%.
Liv's becoming that well-rounded athlete you want in the back, because I mean her handsprings and all those back handsprings that she does into a ring, the way she can take her body and ragdoll it while the larger women are throwing her around. I mean that in itself takes skill, and for her not to get injured and everything. And real quick, we got Chris Best chiming in. He's been blowing up the chat. He's saying Liv versus Jade, LOL.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I just couldn't see that one, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't want to put
Brown
those
man.
two together until one of them is completely well-rounded in the craft of wrestling, because someone's got to carry that match. You're gonna have a lot of dull moments in that if you throw that one together right now. And that's no shade towards either one of those women. It's just there's a simple evolution to a match, and there's a masterful way to do it OMD and Bubba Duke, I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
100%.
You just can't throw two things of bologna out there and be like, hey, make me a sandwich. It's not going to happen.
Good luck.
Yeah. So, OMD, let's hit your review real quick, or your preview real quick. You brought it up earlier, but let's get your preview going so we can get that going around, and then you just, whenever you're ready, you just hop on out, bud.
I'm with you right till the end here tonight. But yeah,
okay, awesome.
I'm doing the contract signing for tonight.
Yeah.
Which again, it's going to be fantastic. They both can deliver a great, passionate promo. And in this case, you do have that underdog who I need to find my path to WrestleMania, and Sami Zayn versus this dominant champ in Gunther, who's had the belt for now, going on 690 days.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
So Gunther, I know he's done one other contract signing, and I don't believe that ended in physicality, but I'm not sure. But he just lets his emotion do the talking. His actions back him up in the ring. So if I don't see physicality, especially on Gunther's part, I can see Sammy going for something. But I also see Imperium, after the contract is signed, get that done. It's also going to depend on where they place that segment on the show.
No.
Very true. Very true. Now I know we've all spoke about this one. But if you guys have any more insight to give on this topic for the contract signing, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think Imperium's going to do anything because Gunther will not allow it. Period.
So you think he's going to play that general?
He's coming out cool, calm, collected, to the point. His point is get this contract signed, get rid of Sami Zayn because I got bigger fish to fry. But if somebody comes into the ring, then Imperium's going to say, well, no, not going to happen, especially if they go after Gunther. If they go after Sammy, I could just see them all powdering out and leaving.
Okay. Bulkster, you got any more insight on this one?
Unpopular opinion, but all I want to see is Lesnar come out there and give Suplex City to all four of them and do what Lesnar does and say, I'm going to Mania, and Sammy can wait his turn.
Hey.
That's what Lesnar does. And I would be for it because Lesnar's freaking the man. It's the man.
I'm a Lesnar fan too. I'm with you. We grew up with him. We pop anytime that dude comes out. I'm going to leave it with this. Somebody here on a microphone, when certain things were being said, brought up, maybe we should all just wait and pump our brakes before we make any judgments on the situations that were brought out. And now look who's back in the picture. So that's all I want to say on that one. We don't need to get into it anymore.
Nope.
But I like where Terry's head's at because I fucking love Suplex City. I love when that big gorilla gets in there. He fucking gets whatever he wants. He lifts up a wrestling ring. People fall out of it. That's what we love. We are Brock Lesnar fans. I don't give a shit what's going on because goddamn it, Brock Lesnar is fun. He has ratings. He's a big, dumb, just gorilla that can do big, dumb gorilla things. And that's what we love about wrestling. Come on, guys. Let's go back to our core of just loving big, dumb shit when it comes to Brock.
I am with you on that. What I've missed is the fact that, it's never really happened, but we haven't had somebody who can come in and deliver a true knockout in a match, not counting last man standings, but actually have the ref stop it because so-and-so is unconscious.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this would be the time to do it because we all know that big monkey is angry. He's pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
He's ready to just come out and just release so much tension. I mean, come on. He's Lesnar. I don't care. That he was honestly, like, growing up, he was the first besides the supernatural monsters like the Undertaker, Kane, I mean, those guys were character driven. Brock was our first just big dumb brute of a wrestler who was I mean, they tried to do it with the Big Show, but then they started that whole thing, his whole he's the son of the giant, blah blah. Like that never got to me. Like
No.
Andre the Giant was a mythical creature. The dude was a giant. He was just a
Right.
giant. So that was his draw. Yeah, the Big Show's huge, but you're no son of the giant. Come on.
No.
Yeah. But I digress on that one. Okay, who else had a preview that they wanted to bring up?
Doesn't Terry have one?
We both
Terry.
did.
Yeah, we
I
both
did.
got one.
Okay, we'll throw them in there.
Go
All
Terry.
right. So my preview was for one of the qualifying matches, tag team qualifying matches. It was DIY versus Creed Brothers.
Yes.
I find this match really interesting because both teams are really good. Both are faces. It's a toss up. What are they going to do here? I've seen many avenues because of story builds that they've had. I would love to see Creed Brothers because I think they have so much potential. And I think a ladder match would be so up their alley.
Oh fuck yeah.
With some of the cannonballs they could do off of the DIY. I mean, they can't put on a bad ladder match. It all depends if they're going to do, DIY versus Awesome Truth combination or not. But I'm rooting for the Creed Brothers. I think they would be very good. I think DIY could do other stuff, but that's just my opinion. I like the Creed Brothers. I think they're two little mini Lesnars.
Hey, you're valid in your opinion there, Terry. The bulkster. You're allowed to have it. I full-heartedly disagree with it. I think if you're going to have this type of match at Mania, you need DIY in it.
Yes.
But I can definitely see where you're going on that one. OMD, what are your thoughts on what the bulkster had to spew out of his mouth?
I'm actually in agreement with Bulkster on this one. I would love to see I would love to see the Creed Brothers in that match.
Okay.
Did we just become best friends?
I think we did. The problem is that they haven't been on TV enough. They had their push, they had their run at the tag titles right off the bat, and then they've disappeared until tonight.
Okay. So you think that could be what's clouding my judgment with going with DIY over these guys, over the Creed Brothers?
No, I think it's probably in the fact that, again, DIY cannot put on a bad match. They'll be fantastic in a ladder match as well.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't think they're there. I don't think they are the ones to take the belts off of Judgment Day. I do think that as you get to Mania, this is how you're going to split the tag team titles.
Okay.
But I'm going to put another interesting team into this mix that right now doesn't seem to have a match. And that's going to be JD and Dom.
Oh.
Ooh.
I like where he's going there. Bubba Duke, why don't you pick up that rebound and let's see what you do with it?
Wow, JD and Dom. I'm a born again Dom holic, I guess.
He has risen, everybody.
His match with Gunther shocked the hell out of me. Like he legit
Dom's
put up
good.
a match. So I would love to see them guys in it, but I think DIY is going to pull this one out. Whether it's just barely, I think they're just going to pull it out because they're just a bigger tag team than the other guys. Unfortunately, to say that, but they are.
Hey, I'm kind of on your bandwagon. Honestly, I think when you do a ladder match of this caliber, you need a team like DIY in there just because they're going to give you every bit that they can, and it's going to be entertaining. So you already have that part locked up in your ladder match. Um, so on top of that, though, anybody that they decide that there is going to go into this match, it's a 6-pack challenge, right?
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
teams. It's going to be epic, and this is exactly what I believe me and Chris Parrish were talking about a month ago.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they need for the tag team division. In personally, I would have loved to see it done in the women's division. I think it would have been awesome to see a 6-pack challenge ladder match with the women. It would have definitely put them to another stratosphere where it comes to standing up at a main event caliber. But I'm not saying that I'm disappointed in where they're going with this. Honestly, I just want to see it already. Like, give
Yeah.
me who's going to be in it. Let me know who's going to be in it, and just hit play so I can watch it, because this is my type of matches for WrestleMania. This is where I fell in love with Mania. This is, matches like this. This takes me back to the Dudleys, Edge, Christian, the
Yeah, buddy.
Hardys. Feeling
Yep.
those moments where I just want to hear, dum, 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 and then just come out and see what
Yep.
who's going to climb that ladder, who's going to jump off the top of it. I want to see it. I want to. I can't wait for this match. This is exciting, and like I said, I personally want DIY in there. Johnny Wrestling, want to see him achieve on all levels. Tomasa, I fucking love that dude. I think he's a mini Triple H. He needs to be celebrated on so many levels. So whatever they do is going to be fantastic for the tag team division.
100%.
And that leads us into Bubba Duke's preview
Yeah,
for
buddy.
tonight. Let's hear it, Bubba Duke.
I've actually changed mine. I
Oh,
was going to cover another one of the tag team matches, but this match needs to be brought up. The
okay.
last woman standing match, Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax.
Oh, you disrespectful.
No, I'm just bugged. I'm starting to like her. She is getting better. She's growing on me. How do we see this match really turning out? Because I personally think that Nia will have a bit of an edge because she's a little bit bigger. But being that it's a last woman standing match, really, there's no rules, right? So, do we see other women that have a grudge against this woman coming out and helping beat her ass down? It's kind of where I'm leaning. Like, how many women has she hurt prior to this run now? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think you can go back to her initial run on this as to who she hurt.
No.
I think that this feud with Becky has played over since then. But you've
no, I'm
had
talking like how many people are going to come help Becky beat this girl? Because I'm telling you, if you and I had a match and you hurt me, and it was like my first match, say, and now we're like, say, 7 years down the road and we have a match again, bro, that shit don't go out of here. I remember that.
yeah, oh yeah,
It
This
hurt
is
you.
fucking New Jack over here.
there's
It will hurt
receipts. I think you're going to get some interference from Liv. I think
Okay.
this is going to play back into a previous Rhea storyline as well, heading into Mania, where Rhea was accused of spreading herself too thin, trying to handle all of the Judgment Day business,
Yeah.
and not focusing on being the champ. Now you've got Becky having a match every week with Liv, now with Nia, spreading herself too thin and not focusing on the title.
True.
But I do think that you're going to get interference from Liv. I think you're going to get interference from Rhea because of the attacks that Nia's had on Rhea.
That's
Let me
kind of
pose
where I'm
this
at.
question before we go into what
ahead.
Bulkster
Yep.
has to think.
Yes.
How
I
much
have
does?
one thing. Huh?
Go ahead, Bulkster. You let us know what you need, what you were thinking on this one.
So I thought they with it was going to be with it being last woman standing.
Mhm.
They have reign of backstage anywhere goes, right? So of course I think like Wally, everything they said is going to happen, but Bulkster likes to daydream. So Bulkster thinks that possibly there'll be somebody backstage that maybe coming out of a dressing room, coming out somehow get bumped by Nia Jax, and that person I think will be Jade Cargill. That's it.
I think I'm going
Hey.
to say this one is Keep Dreaming. um,
I,
just because we don't know where Jade is at yet.
that's true.
She's still at the performance center.
She is, but she's also been appearing more on Fridays.
Hey, the more she's at the performance center, though, the more work she's putting in, the better the product we're gonna get. And
Exactly.
here's my thing, though. How much are you diluting a last woman standing match when you have all this interference you guys are speaking of? How much does that actually give Becky?
It doesn't
Like,
give her anything. It just
it
gives
doesn't give
her
her anything. And what does she need right now going into WrestleMania? She needs momentum behind her. She needs all this stuff. So if you're sending in all these women, you're just saying basically Becky can't do it anymore. She can't be the man anymore. And oh, here's Nia Jax. This is our what do they call her? Who I forget what her nickname is. But anyways, she's Nia Jax. Like, she's the force of the women's division that you're not supposed to be able to walk through. You're not supposed to be able to go through. You're not supposed to withstand a last woman standing match against. But then you're adding all these other elements, these outside forces. So you're diluting the man, Becky Lynch, the name. You're making that softer. So therefore, to me, it doesn't bode well for them storyline wise if they're going to add in all this outside interference. Yes, does it all go together? Yeah, of course it does, because of the way they've been setting Nia Jax up from the past couple weeks. Yes, it would make much sense if Rhea came in and did something. It would make a lot of sense if Liv comes out of nowhere and tries to take her out, making her statement. But at the end of the day, you're just hurting the overall product of what you're trying to get across. And that's the man going up against, she's going up against Rhea, right? So
you're right.
I was just, that's where I stand on it.
I was just bulkstering right there, dreaming. That's all.
No, I understand. It's a fun dream to have. It's a fun moment to live into the bulkster mindset when you think you can just come up with these fairy tales.
Yeah. Reality dictates. No.
Reality kind of smacks you. It's like Tyson says,
yeah.
Everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, I feel pretty good about this Raw coming up. You guys, how about yourselves?
I'm ready to check out. Let's see what they do.
I am excited. We're ready to engage in more talk with you guys in the chat over at the Raw Patrol.
Very much so. Go ahead, OMD. Let everybody know where you're at, where they can find you coming up, and what you got going on.
Well, people can join me in about 3 minutes over at Turnbuckle Studios on the Raw Patrol with Chris Best. Carl Carafell is off tonight. Bubba Duke, I'm sure, will be there, and a run-in from Chris Parrish. Tomorrow night, they can catch me on Turnbuckle Talk again with Chris Best. Thursday, they can catch me on the Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke. And if you want to get a hold of me on the socials, find me on Facebook, Daniel Hrycyk, Hrycyk. On Snapchat, One Man Dynamic, capitals on O, M, and D. on Twitch at OMD17 and on Discord at OMD6370.
Awesome, OMD. All right, Bubba Duke, let them know.
You can find me on the YouTubes at Bubba OMD, and that is also an email. You can send me messages asking about gameplay that we do on Thursdays on the Boar's Nest. That is BubbaOMD at gmail.com. Please, if you have a favorite game, send it to us. Let us know. We will definitely try to play it. And you can catch me not only here on Monday nights, you can catch me in 3 minutes over at the Paw Patrol or Raw Patrol, Paw Patrol, who cares what it's called? We're watching Raw, which is coming on right now.
All right, Bulkster, talk to him, brother.
You can find me, the Bulkster Show on YouTube, Bulkster Show on TikTok, and Facebook, Bulk Bogan. And just look for the same face you're looking for, because everybody wants to be the Bulkster. So keep an eye out for the right one. Unfortunately, Bulkster did a botch today and forgot to stream this show to my YouTube. So guess what? This one's on the Bulkster.
There we go. And that is my collective of friends. They range from all different mindsets, from your average kindergartner to maybe your 8th grader. You know, who knows? But they're all a collective, and they're in my box of chocolates, and no one else can have them. These are my friends. You can catch me. I am Joshua Joseph, the voice. You can catch me here, right here. And you can always catch me, part of the Window Lickers universe that I'm creating. We're bringing in creators like the Bulkster. We got Bubba Duke joining us, and we got OMD, who loves to come in and lick the windows with us, and fans and friends of all kind. Go out there, check everything out. We got a bunch of shit going on. We really like to raid out to people, and one of my favorite places to raid is the Raw Patrol. Let me pull that up real quick and we'll get that going. In the meantime and in between time, you can always catch me here doing what I do and what I love to do. So hit you with this
Bubba's at the
weight
club.
screen.